Hello again. In the last few years, slavery has returned to Britain after an absence lasting centuries. This June will mark the 250th anniversary of the Mansfield Judgment, which ruled that slavery was not something to be tolerated in this country, but it has crept back and become established once more under the cover of multiculturalism. I mean by this that a particular ethnic group is bound up in almost all the cases of slavery which have ended up in the courts of Britain in recent years. It is not easy to recognise what has been happening because this ethnicity lives in various countries and often has names which reflect the host country, so that their actual ethnicity is hard to discern. And no, I'm not talking about the Jews. The other day, I spoke of some modern slaves in Bristol and the fact that two people from Slovakia had been convicted of human trafficking and slavery. Their names were Maros Tankos and Joanna Gomolska. A correspondent has told me and shown me good evidence that these are not Slovakians at all, but Gypsies who live in Slovakia. This was interesting because, of course, there have been similar cases in Britain before. I give a link in the description to this video to a case on a traveller's site in 2017 involving a family called Rooney, who lived on a travellers' camp in Lincolnshire. Now, Rooney is, of course, an Irish name. These people were gypsies, and they too were keeping slaves. It was quite a big racket. At the time, it was estimated there could be as many as 10,000 slaves in the country, and it was hinted that some other travellers' camps might be centres for this awful trade in humans. That's two cases of slavery involving gypsies. Are there any more? Actually, there's quite a few in this country, but because those involved are from Poland, Slovakia, Ireland and other countries, it is not immediately apparent that gypsies are behind much of what is going on. Last year, a man called Demeter and a woman called Demeterova were jailed in Birmingham for a large-scale slavery operation in which people were working for 12 hours a day and ending up being paid £20 a week for their labour. Although they were also from Slovakia, Demeter is a gypsy name. I am again obliged to a Slovakian informant for some of this information. That case may also be seen in a link to the description to this video. There was a similar case last year in Stoke-on-Trent in which a man called Robert Zaladuk and a woman called Katerina Zaladikova were charged with slavery offences. Once again, these are gypsy names, although both were from Slovakia. Polish gypsies too are mixed up in slavery in Britain. Only last week, two Polish gypsies were convicted at Wood Green Court in London of keeping a slave and making her sleep in the garden shed. They were sent to prison for 9 years. I also give a link to this case in the description to the video. There are many other cases, and had it not been for two Slovakians getting in touch and explaining all this to me, I wouldn't have known about it. I knew, of course, that Irish gypsies had been mixed up in this terrible business, but I had no idea at all that it was also Polish and Slovakian ones as well. In short, in 1772 there was a famous court ruling in London known as the Mansfield case, in which slavery was ruled to be illegal in this country. For almost 250 years there was no slavery in Britain, but now, with the arrival of almost unrestricted immigration, the practice has returned and is largely associated with gypsies. This is all very odd, and I will freely confess that I didn't know about it until somebody explained to me the significance of the names of those involved. I'm bound to say I find it strange, and I had no idea of any connection between gypsies and slavery. If any viewers can shed light on this, I would be very interested indeed to hear about it.